All right. I think we're on.
Oh, perfect.
Hi, everyone. It's another weekly squeeze session with your host, E.O.Breakers and Karthik. Karthik, my friend, how you doing?
Hey, man. Things are great. Had a good weekend. How was yours?
It was great, too. I love it when it's warm and nice. I did some barbecue.
Yeah, that weather is awesome here in San Diego. So spent a bunch of time with the kids. So the markets could be very exciting this week. Let's.
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, some disclaimers. Everything Karthik and I discuss is for educational purposes, and none of our ideas or recommendations or trading advice. So we just look at the week and the trading patterns and share with you guys what we're doing, what we're thinking about the market. Exciting times. So just take it as that's something we do, we share, and all the responsibility for your trades is with you. And with that, let's get started. What we have on the agenda this week is no different than any other week. We're going to look at the money calendar. We will look at the kind of the trades, potential trades that may come from the money calendar. We'll run the squeeze scan. And I do have some other plans related to markets that I've been working on. So, and we'll cover that. I know Karthik, you have a game plan for this week, so we're going to hear from you around your game plan. I'm always excited about hearing what you do and what you're planning to do.
Yeah.
And then we'll take some questions and requests from the audience. Any stocks you guys want us to look at or anything you want us to look at, start typing in the chat. Karthik, what did you have in mind for this week on your end?
Do you want me to go first?
No, just for your agenda. I don't know if I covered it. You had told me that you may have some additional things you want to cover this week.
Yeah, the big thing. Hey, Bruce, thanks for joining. So what my plan is for this week to go through some of the major market events that we could expect and the effect of trading bonds and interest rates. So I'm going to keep a close watch on that. I'm going to walk you through in terms of some of the things I'm looking at, maybe helpful for guys, number one, who are trading the markets, and you can use that as a basis to understand if there is a potential S&P setups that you can look at. So I'm going to walk you through in detail in terms of the bonds and the relationship to the stock markets.
Perfect. So Karthik, maybe we do this. I quickly cover Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then I turn to you for the market.
Yeah.
And then we go into money calendar, because your market views might help us think about what we do with the money calendar. What do you think about that?
Yeah, sure. Good idea. Let's do that.
All right. Let me switch to mine to show Bitcoin first, because Bitcoin has taken off, guys, which is exciting. I did look at, I think I put it in the trading room, buy signal on the hourly that I saw on Market Cipher. There's a divergence here, if you guys can see it. We got a trigger wave and a divergence right here. You could have gotten in a trade here. I actually didn't do a futures trade this time. I just bought. I was in cash, as you guys know, for a while. I bought just Bitcoin straight up and then got in. Right now we're at the 39K. We have a natural resistance at 39,380 level. My expectation is this. If you look at the daily chart, we did a double bottom here, and I think 31K was the bottom. Obviously, no one knows, but like seeing this divergence, and the fact that everybody was expecting 20Ks. I think this makes sense. This punishes a lot of people who cashed out. So if you didn't get back in, it makes sense to me. I actually, I might be wrong on this, but I actually think that this thing will take all the way to 51K. We're going. I don't think, obviously not. There's no straight line, right? It's gonna go to 39 first, come down a little bit, then it'll go up to 43, come down, and go up to 47. I think we're on the way to 51. Obviously, I might be wrong. The only thing I have is I look at the weekly. I was actually expecting one more week before, like during this week, to get a weekly buy signal here on the market cipher. So actually, it is positioned very nice. And the bounce from here, if we take off and actually go beyond 41K, guys, we are definitely going to 50s. This is on the way to 100K. This is the next cycle, beginning of the next cycle. That's what I believe. So I think, it's not too late. I think we're very well positioned to have a major run up. And I think it is going to take a little sideways action as usual, but it's gonna move towards the upside. Any reactions to that, Karthik?
No, I think looks pretty bullish on a shorter time frame.
Yeah. Also, the fact that weekly is turning is really good because they're bullish on the shorter time frame, and then the weekly is turning because this was kind of like you weren't sure if this was we're gonna have a good support here or we're gonna continue going down, but we broke this trend line I had earlier. Actually, I can erase all of this. We don't need these lines that are coming from all the time. Very quickly, Ethereum. I'm very bullish on Ethereum as well. Ethereum weekly chart still indicates, I think this is related to Bitcoin dominance. When Bitcoin starts taking off fast, a lot of the altcoins will get punished. I think Ethereum will get punished as well a little bit. So I'm bullish in the long run. Once Bitcoin settles some higher level and goes sideways, then the altcoins will catch up. But Ethereum have a little bit of pullback on the weekly indicator. I think we're just kind of probably stay sideways a little bit, and then like any other altcoin, it'll come catch up with Bitcoin and go up as well.
Yeah, the Ethereum looks like pretty bearish on the daily, though, right? If you look at the daily, it's kind of rolling over. I guess it's probably popping back up today, but
with today's, you see like the daily is giving a high trigger, and the VWAP turned over the zero line. So I suspect we would be somewhere 2,500 to 2,600. It'll stay sideways. The stock RSA is also good. RSI is also good. So I expect sideways with like all the other altcoins while Bitcoin takes off really fast. That's the issue with Bitcoin taking off fast, is altcoins get punished because what happens is people panic. They feel like they're missing out. So they cash out their altcoins and then they buy Bitcoin. And during that time frame, all the altcoins get punished, and Ethereum being the largest altcoin, right?
So you are the crypto expert, so we're going to follow you on that leads on the crypto trades. So that's great.
Perfect. So turn it over to you. Let's go to the overall markets, Karthik.
Yeah. So let me add this to my. See if you guys can see my screen.
Oh, sorry, I thought I removed mine. Go ahead, you remove mine. Yeah. Yep, okay.
Okay. Super. So you guys can see my screen and my mouse, and you can hear me okay, right?
Guys on the chat, just comment if you can hear. But I can see you, Karthik, obviously.
Okay, perfect. So let's do this. So this is, hi, welcome everybody for the weekly game plan for this week. As you all know, this is my kind of weekly game plan checklist that I put together for the team. What I have is, you guys can see there's a couple of major releases this week. The first one is on Tuesday, where they talk about the producer price index and retail sales on Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern. I guess the biggest thing for the week everybody is going to be watching is the FOMC meeting and the presser that comes after the minutes are released on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And considering, I guess that's the FOMC is going to be the biggest aspect. I'll walk you through some of the bonds that I am going to be looking at. Let's see, Hamid, see if I can expand the screen here. All right, hopefully that's helpful, Hamid, for you to read this one. So the next biggest thing is obviously the quad witching. The options expire for futures, future options, stock and stock options. So this is going to be a cautious week for me personally, considering there's a lot of activities from the Fed side and the option expiration chop you could expect for the week. Would be a good week to sell some premiums that I'm kind of looking at that we can share at some point as we go forward during the week. I'll be sharing this weekly watch list on my workflow link shortly to you guys, so you guys can keep a tab on my kind of what I'm doing for the week. So the FOMC is the biggest kind of thing that everybody is watching this week. So kind of keep an eye on that, see how the markets react to some of those minutes when they come out, and when Mr. Powell kind of opens his mouth at the 2:30 p.m. Eastern presser when he goes live talking about what the rate statement is going to look like. Quickly, I want to touch on a couple of things from a directional bias for my day trading, as well as from a swing trading perspective. Some of the numbers here I have for I think I've walked you through in the past weekly segment. Some of the VWAP numbers I'm looking at for ES and YM, where it's kind of bullish for me if you kind of follow these numbers. For ES, it's double green, which is kind of a bullish situation. YM as well, double green. Whereas NQ and the Russell is in sideways distribution. So these are some of the numbers I'm watching for the week for a directional bias perspective. I can go through this kind of on the chart in a second. Before that, I think, as I said, the major market event to watch is going to be the bonds. So the one thing that I am personally looking at is to, what is the bond market going to do for this week, right? So there's a concept called, you can get this get this chart on the stock charts for free. I will kind of walk you through in terms of kind of what I am looking at if we need to bail out of stocks, for example, liquidate everything and get into something, getting into cash is what I'm thinking about. But the market is right now, the market is not showing me any signals to me to get into cash at this point in time. So this is something called as dynamic yield curve, which basically shows the different relationship between the bonds duration. So if you look at the x-axis here, the 3-month, 2-year, 5-year, 10-year, 20-year, and 30-year bonds, and what's the interest rates for the respective duration, the bond duration. See, as under the normal market conditions, right, the bond duration increases. Like this goes, the bond duration increases, which is the x-axis. The interest for that bond should also increase, right? Like in this case, it was pretty flat. I'll walk you through the kind of what I'm looking at. But typically, you would probably want to see something like this going upward movement in a typical normal situation. This is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm looking at for as bailout of stock signal, right? If you want to bail out of stocks and get into cash or put on a bearish position, this is exactly what I'm looking at. You look at this 2007, right? The late 2007, the curve was pretty flat along these bond durations. The curve was pretty flat, and see what the market did in late 2007, right? It kind of fell off the cliff. So when the yield curves get flattened across the bond duration, the market's kind of gets a nosedive, right? You can get this chart on stock charts. I'll go through the stock charts and kind of explain you how to kind of the links for this. But just keep in mind, look for these kind of signals, right? When it goes flat, you want to get either into cash or set up some bearish positions. Now, coming down, that was in late 2007. This was kind of why I wanted to show kind of how it looks in 2007 when the market crashed. Now, look at 2020, right? This is the dynamic yield curve in 2020. There's a sharp uptrend here, right? Telling us the long-term investors are not really fearful of the future, right? I mean, 2020, you know what happened? The market went crazy, right? It was bullish. So this is kind of a sharp uptrend. Now in 2021, like as of the end of last week, which is 11th of June, I just pulled the yield curve here, the same dynamic yield curve from 2020 and 2007. See the yield curves here, right? It's pretty bullish in my opinion. Is this the time to liquidate the stocks? That's the question I'm asking myself, is like, do you liquidate the stocks and get into cash? Right now I'm leaning pretty bullish because the yield curve doesn't tell me anything, right? So if you go to, like, for example, go to stockcharts.com, right? Like this is the link. I'll give you the workflow link for it. So what you could do is, if you guys can see the chart, let's see if I can increase the size here. This is a free website that gives you this dynamic yield curve on a daily basis. So what you could do is, like, you see the red line here? So the red line, you can just drag it along here. Let's see if I can drag. Then you can see the yield curves move here. Can you guys see the yield curves move here?
Yeah.
Right. So you could see here, right, back in 2007 or 2008, before the crash, you see it was flat, right? So the market crashed. So you could kind of like go back and look at this yield curve and say, right now it's bullish. It's not really showing anything to tell me it is. This yield curve is not telling me any kind of indications to be bearish at this point in time. With that said, this can change tomorrow, right? This can change Monday, Tuesday, or whatever time frame it is. So this is one signal that I'm watching to get a feel of, do I need to get short the market? Hopefully that makes.
How is it supposed to be? Like, if you think it's going to crash,
right? Like I showed you in 2007 how it looked, right? The 2007, you see, it's when it gets flat, right? Kind of downward curve to a flattish signal. Kind of, for me, that's kind of a signal to kind of get out of stocks, right? So you see what happened. I mean, you could go back in like other years and in 2000 and see that as well. Let me go back in 2000 and see if I can pull that in, if I can. Look here, right? Downward trending downward trending to flattish kind of thing, right? So if that happens, like you see the market, like before, I mean, it's kind of a bigger theme to kind of focus on. If the bond yield curves get flattened, so you want to kind of look for the signals. This is one of the signals that I look at to get short. Okay, so that's one of these things. With that said, right, there are a couple of things coming I mean, I'll keep a close eye for this next week, so you guys can kind of. I'll give you kind of weekly updates on daily updates in the workflow link on kind of how the market looks from a bond dynamic yield curve perspective. But with that said, there is also a case for making a bearish case. According to Larry Williams, he thinks the best 8 days to sell short is the week of June 21st. The week of June 21st, which is not this week, the week after the options expiration happens, like the day, the trading day of the year, 119, 180, 120 days, 118. So the week after the options expiration week is, he thinks there's a cycle for getting short on the S&P E-minis. So you could use SPY, you could use SPY puts or micros or whatever you want to do. But this is the kind of the signals that I'm watching to kind of get short into next week. So that's my kind of quick take for the market. If you have any questions, I'm happy to kind of address. With considering kind of some of the key things that's going to be happening this week and options expiry and the FOMC, I'm going to stay on the sidelines, but I'm going to basically look for some premium selling opportunities that I'm going to be focused on for this week.
Yeah, Karthik, that's good to know that overarching market perspectives. Thank you for that. Money Calendar has actually a lot of 100% opportunities. On the bullish. I want to show you guys. So for June 14th, we have a lot of high power money calendar trades with 100% return rates. This is for those of you who might be watching this for the first time. Money calendar looks at the last 10 years of trading patterns and looks at trading patterns that repeated itself. So it's a little bit of, if history repeats itself, we have a good chance for, 10 out of 10 years. The 100% ones are probably potential trades. I posted this on the website as well. I pulled a couple of the Google is on the list. Looks really good. So if you enter a trade on June 14th and exit on July 22nd, you would have, 10 out of 10 last 10 years. This is basically was a profitable trade. Same thing, Netflix. Although Netflix is a little bit more skewed with the last year. CRM, CHTR, and I think if we go back to the scan, let me see. Guys, there's so many QLD, QQQ as well. So I don't know, Karthik, I mean, with the overarching view in the market, but all these things showing potential is also interesting, right? So like we should probably...
Yeah, we could think about going into the FOMC meeting, we could kind of be long. That's what I'm looking at when I day trade futures in the morning. But there could be potential signals from your money calendar that we could try to get into, for the 100% kind of probability of success kind of trades.
So QQQ was on the list, basically entering tomorrow in a bullish trade and exiting, I think, July 21. The chart, daily chart looks bullish with money flow all green. Although momentum wave indicates perhaps this week we'll get probably a sideways to a little bit of pullback if this thing turns, but you can never tell from this. It's really bullish. I mean, so this, like, if you really look at it with market cipher in mind, this is bullish. So we could test out these 342 levels. The other one was Google. I just want to take a look. So Google Market Cipher, also all green, VWAP positive, although we're at this overbought levels with RSI. Yeah, I mean, it looks, obviously it could stay at those levels for the, maybe, like you said, maybe this stays up here, it continues to move until the FOMC. And after the FOMC, we want to be cautious. But with the money calendar trades, you actually almost need to make it literally entering the trade and exiting on those dates, because that's how it measures the performance. So the other one was CRM. I just want to quickly look at CRM chart as well. Yeah, they all look the same, although CRM indicates a pullback here with market sniffer. But it did need to go up, so it is all green money flow. So let me see. Let's look at SPY very quick. You're bullish on SPY, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, SPY looks like it's gonna. I mean, massive fat green money flow, momentum wave is all to the positive. VWAP is at the zero line though, but and then you guys see I have the 10x bars here, right? DMI. So it went from red to yellow, perhaps a green run up to. I wouldn't be surprised if we go break the all-time highs and up to 430s. I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, it's possible. What's your view on SPY targets?
Good question. Let me pull the chart here. Here's my ES chart that I look at. I don't know if I really have a target, EO, but I think, see, as it goes higher highs, I am not a momentum trader, meaning like, I don't want to be chasing these markets at these highs here. So something I call as like, GFT, which is a greater fool theory. I don't want to be a greater fool chasing these markets. So these are some of the VWAP lines. At least if we can get some pullback into these zones or into this 21 EMA pullback to the reversion to the mean. I don't know if that will happen, but I would be a buyer if it comes back to that level. But saying that, I mean, I'm also a day trader. I look for opportunities for getting into day trades, trading a 1 minute chart from 9:30 to 11:30. So with a bullish bias, obviously. So I don't know if that's helpful, but I think that's kind of the way I approach the ES at this point in time.
Yeah. Do we want to do a market cipher green dot scan?
Yeah, go for it.
Let me see what's on the list for close of Friday. I'm just going to do a daily scan and then I'll post it. So I don't know if this is readable. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Can you read it? So Home Depot is at the top.
See, you can see properly.
I'm just going to look at Home Depot on the charts. Yeah, Home Depot has a green dot. Fat green, yeah, money flow and VWAP is about to cross. This is perhaps, and it's also at a support zone. So this may be a bounce from here. You may have a, from 309 to 315. you may catch a 5-point move. I think this is this my 50 MA? Yeah, this is my 50 SMA. So you consider 50 SMA potential resistance. You may have a 5-point move this week on Home Depot. Let me just post the scan results. These are market cipher green dot buy signals.
What's the time frame on that, EO? Is it daily?
I'm running daily to that way you have time to get in and get out of the trade. So I will. I'm working on a big green dot scan. I will figure that out. Market cipher, green dot, buy signal. I actually did this last week and I posted on the website. Most of them are like, you had, a couple of dollars of profit on all of them. So it's actually pretty good, even the just simple green dot scan. But, you can be more selective with looking at the money flow, etc.
Yeah.
So these scans are actually pretty powerful.
Let's talk offline. I think we can build some rules around this process and then make it a process-oriented rather than
a checklist. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So that's the buy scan. It has Home Depot on it. Let me see. Oh, Coinbase is on it. Although I don't think there's enough data on Coinbase to scan to be.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to. I think let's do a sell signal. So daily sell. Oh, lots of sells. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better to do sells this week. I'm just going to do this top portion. But BP is there. Intuit is there. EY Lilly. Fastly. Let me just pick Eli Lilly. I'm just curious what it looks like on the charts.
Yeah, that combined with some red diamonds, big red diamonds would be kind of crazy combination for shorts.
LLY. Just curious if there's really a. Yes, it's a high RSI, red dot, and stock RSI also crossing. So, but it's a VWAP is a 0 line. So potential. It's a bullish chart, so I wouldn't necessarily short this, but there's a potential to pull back to like 212 or something like that. That zone. What else was here? I'm just curious. Dell is here. Now let's look at Fastly. This could be okay. This is red money flow, and it's about to give the signal, even though there's no green dot on this, but it's about to give. I think it's catching it early in the scan. Yeah, this could be a pullback to 50 SMA. So it's at 54. It could come back down to 47, 48 level. All right, let's see. All right, that's that. We could also do a squeeze scan. Should we do a squeeze scan, Karthik?
Yeah, please. I have one question after we finish that. I want you to look at gold futures.
Oh yeah, we should look at GLD definitely.
Yeah, after we finish.
Yeah. Where's my orange dot scan? Actually, let's do the red dot scan. I'll do the daily. Lots of them. Oh, Netflix is here on the squeeze. Interesting. I'll just copy this to the website. I'm just curious what Netflix chart looks like. Let's take a look. Yeah, money flow is negative. VWAP is below 0. Yeah, I mean it's not a bullish setup. It's kind of in a sideways channel. It could go down to 460s, and it would still be in the sideways channel. Let's take a look at. Do you want to do GLD or do you want to do?
Can you do GC futures? I think it's trading tonight. We could kind of trading down like 0.6%, so may have some opportunity that I'm looking at.
All right, let's take a look. So this is the daily chart. Do you want to do shorter time frame? Oops. So
no, let me just stream mine. See for 1 second what I'm looking.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm looking at. I mean, obviously, like I said previously, with the FOMC, I mean, anything can happen with these metals like gold and silver. But I think I am bullish in this market in gold, considering all my indicators here. Double green, which is the 8, 13, and 21. It's all stacked above, and then it's stacked above the 34 EMA. And today is kind of perfect. Tonight is going to be a perfect opportunity to get long in my books. It's pulling into the top of the 34 EMA on the high. I think I have some kind of alerts set for pulling into the 1850 level and closer to 1830, which is my conservative entries. I was thinking to get long GC futures, or I was planning mostly to go with GC futures options. So I wanted to see what you think from your perspective. If you can look at it on a daily basis first, and then maybe look at it on a 4-hour or a short-term basis.
So daily basis, it looks like it's gonna pull back, although it's green money flow, if you can see on my chart, but it looks like it'll pull back. So you'll have some pullback. I don't like the fact that you see how this 50 SMA was like a support.
Yeah.
And it is still above it, but if it breaks down, it's not good news. So if it stays above this SMA, so this may be a buy zone right here. So you are right. So I expect it to be like this, where it hits the 50 SMA and bounces. So this may be a perfect buy on the daily. All we need to do is we wait for the VWAP to turn to buy though. Let it kind of a day or two. We may need the VWAP to turn. But the money flow is green. This momentum wave is coming down to the 0 line. It looks like it may just turn here as opposed to going all the way down and turn. So it looks like we may be at the support zone. And the 10x bars are all green. So this is bullish setup. If you're okay with a little bit of pullback, potentially to these levels, 1867, I think, is that where it is closed? Oh, it's closed at 1873. Yeah, it could come down, retest the 1860s. But it's potentially buy zone if this VWAP turns. We need to see the daily close tomorrow, Karthik.
Yeah, perfect. No, that helps me. I mean, I'm generally like a buy on a pullback trader, so I want to kind of buy on a pullback on a downward momentum to get better pricing on the options. So I may look at it tonight. I'm looking at like 1855-ish kind of thing. I don't know, another $10 or so. I don't know if we'll get there, but let's.
I mean, if we get there, that's probably bad news.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I'd like this to close tomorrow above the 50 SMA.
Okay.
So, I mean, that would be my preference. I want this to stay here and continue moving up.
Yeah, it could be volatile this week, right? I mean, with the FOMC.
That's true. Yeah. So shorter time frames, 30 minutes, for instance. Let me see. Yeah, you have the market cipher manipulation detection, right? So they are actually selling it.
Oh, okay.
So when it runs up to the 50 SMA for 30 minutes, it got sold. Let me see, 1 hour. Yeah, same thing on 1 hour. 4 hours. 4 hour. Okay, 4 hour looks. So 4 hour. This is very interesting. So 4 hour, you have a momentum wave turning up. So this is coming down to a support level, which is really good. 4 hour looks good. The only problem is money flow is coming out. So you go from a fat green to a zero line. It's kind of neutral, I guess. I guess you need to see a bounce from these levels here at 1860s. Then it'll turn the momentum wave. We want a smaller momentum wave here on MC. That'll be the confirmation of an upward moving bounce back. So I'd like to see the momentum wave, trigger wave here, smaller than this wave. As you see, we went from a bigger wave, a smaller wave. I want another smaller wave to trigger a buy signal.
Yeah, that'll be perfect. Was it on a 4 hour basis, right? Is that right?
This is 4 hour, yes.
Oh, okay, thanks.
All right, so there are a few requests in the chat. Actually, let me see. So Janak wants us to look at Caterpillar. Let me see Caterpillar. Yeah, Caterpillar. Look at these guys. Caterpillar got a perfect sell signal on market cipher on this candle.
Yeah, you're killing me. I'm in this trade, Janak as well. So
divergence. Karthik, look at this. I mean, because the divergence signal was on this bar, and the one before got MC sell signal, and the money flow was green, but the VWAP was pointing down. We could have taken this short here. If you know.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that after the fact. I mean, as part of the mastery, I did take CAT long. I'm still in long. I should have gotten out of this crap when it broke my 25% premium threshold. I guess unfortunately I'm still stuck in it. I know there's a VWAP line here that I'm seeing potentially there could be a support here. This is like a yearly Jan 1st, 2021 VWAP here at like 219, 220 level. If this doesn't hold, I mean, I have some time on my options premium. It's 70 days out, I think. So I think we'll see where it ends, Janak, for me on CAT. If technically we should have been out by when we hit the premium loss threshold of 25% on those options. So unfortunately, if you guys didn't get out like me, I think we are stuck in this, at least for now.
Now the good thing is, so if you look at my chart, so it looks like we're about to turn. So the VWAP is turning, which is always a good news when VWAP turns. So you'll probably have, like I look at the, so we'll probably have another, day or two a downturn, but you'll find support here, I think, in this zone here. That's like the 220s, the late 220s, basically. It'll be a support. I think it'll settle there. But, so that's Caterpillar. FCX. I'll zoom in for Bruce, because Bruce, we have to, we'll do next time, do a 1080p broadcast. I don't know why it's set up at 720, but I'll change the configuration for next time. Hopefully you can see this, Bruce. So this is FCX. It actually looks like it's at the it's established a support here at the 39 level for 987. Stock RSI is turning. VWAP has turned. Money flow is turning to the upside. So this may be a buy zone for FCX, guys. Although I don't like the fact that, as you guys can see, am I on the daily chart? I need to double check this. I'm on the daily chart. Okay. So as you guys can see, it was nicely hugging the 50 SMA during this uptrend, and it went below. So even if it bounces, we may see a rejection. It looks like this last candle had a rejection at the 50 SMA. So I'd be careful with FCX, because it could continue underneath the 50 SMA. A good buy signal would be a candle that crosses over the 50 SMA, puts this back to a bullish trend on the daily. Let's take a look at very quickly weekly. I'm just curious where it is on weekly. Yeah, weekly, it is on a pullback. That's why. Yeah, it could pull back all the way to 37, and it would still be bullish.
Do you want me to address FCX from my perspective, E.O.?
Yeah, that would be great.
All right. For FCX, for me, I will first and foremost, I'll go look at copper, because FCX is a proxy to copper. I mean, not one-on-one, but it's pretty close match. If I can pull the copper chart here. This is a copper futures chart. This is a double yellow right now. It's a sideways kind of distribution market, but I think what you should probably look at is, where did it come from, right? I mean, if you look at the double green kind of market here, so generally, like, if it's in an uptrend, this pullback, I'm generally kind of bullish, like E.O. is as well. Copper is pulling back into the 34 EMA wave, and kind of I have the 50 SMA here, but I'm not sure why it doesn't match with EOs, but I do 50 SMA on a close basis, but it's pulling back here, and it looks like that may hold some support here on the copper. But if you go back to FCX, it's the same situation now, where you have double green market, and then this is just a retracement into the wave, and 50 SMA is pretty close to the wave as well. So I am looking to get long. I should have got long here on Thursday maybe, but I didn't get long. this could be an opportunity to get long if we get some pullback this week for a.
I think on my chart, I do Heiken Ishii, so Heiken Ishii averages the full movement of the day. So
Okay.
For some reason on mine, it's touching at the top.
Okay.
The daily. Weekly is not that close. But.
Yeah. Janak, with that said, at this level, I would enter a position, like say on a moderate basis, and then enter some more here at the 50-day SMA at a conservative level. You can kind of increase the position. You can scale in some here at moderate, and then scale in at the conservative level at the 50-day at the 50-day SMA for the FCX. Hope that helps.
Let's look at. Let's start while we're still with you. Can you take a look?
Yeah, LUV. What is it? Airlines.
Yeah, I think that's. Isn't that?
Yeah, Southwest Airlines. So I guess the first thing I go back is like, what is the ETF it relates to, right? So the way I look at it is like index, sector, and the stock. So the sector is JETS, right? JETS is the ETF for LUV, where it falls under. So I look at JETS and see, not a market where I want to be trading in. I prefer, there are other markets which are kind of bullish. This looks like a choppy distribution market for me. I wouldn't touch the JETS ETF. If you really want to trade JETS, let's look at I do something called as relative outperformer scan on a weekly basis. So let me look at JETS, see if there are any other charts other than love. If anything kind of excites me here, then we'll go back to love and give you my thoughts on it. I think the only thing I see bullish is the AC, and there's some TXT, and the AC is AC. See, this is basically my JETS ETF, along with the high concentration stocks in that ETF. I don't see kind of much interest in the JET ETF itself. It's a sideways market. But you could look at the ticker symbol AC, which is double green, and TXT, which is another in the JETS ETF, which is double green, which is, if it pulls back into this 34 EMA wave here, it could be a kind of good opportunity to enter. So with that said, if you really want to get into love, let's see. See, this is, as I said, it's like a distribution chop with the bearish and sideways.
It's bearish, Jack. I have it on mine. It's I can show you money flow clearly coming out.
Good. So yeah, I would stay out of it. Unless you're really already in this and then want to kind of figure out what to do. But if you want to get in, I think the range you would get in is somewhere around here. $56.50, which is the Darvis box, and then which coincides with my yearly VWAP, could be kind of an oversold area that you want to get into, and look for some signals. I think the Ready Aim Fire Pro is signaling aim right now. Look for these signals and then see if this bottoms out here for a potential buy signal.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I'll show you on mine. Like, we have multiple blood diamonds on Market Cipher. It's clearly, when you kind of look at it, money flow is coming out clear. So I would not start a new position on these. This has more downside pressure. And in fact, if it breaks this level where there was volume support, look at it down here, guys. There's no more support, not meaningful support compared to historical volumes. So the next time there's going to be a serious support will be at the 48 level. So if you don't want to experience this pain here, going from 50s to 57 to 48, I would stay away from this. I think if I'm going to go bullish, I would go bullish on this at these down here when it hits this. Right now, the money is truly coming down with the momentum is going in the down direction.
Yeah. No, it would be useful for us, Janak, or anybody else, if you guys can tell us, the charts, the stocks you're looking at, and if you're long or short, or if you're looking to enter into a trade, it would be helpful for us to kind of make a better assessment and judgment on the stocks that you guys are looking at. That would be helpful.
So, Karthik, let's finish up in the next 5-10 minutes with some scans on the TOMS. I don't know, guys, if you got into my TOMS trade. I kind of give in our trading room a signal to Dollar General. We got in a really nice place, and it just jumped up to 290s. This credit spread that I sold is doing very well. It's 50% profitable right now. But so let's see if there's another one available from money calendar perspective. I wasn't sure if it was a darknet signal or it was something else. I think it wasn't darknet. Oops. I always have a hard time finding these things. I'm not sure. Where are they? Oh, okay, here's the scans. I'm not sure. Let's see. Money calendar trader. Let's take a look at that. Let's do a quick search. All right, so there are a few potential trades. This Charter was on the buy signal. Google was on it. There's a biotech sector. Netflix is on it. Oh, interesting. So this is Netflix trade. It's basically buying 490 calls, selling 495. This could be consistently profitable historically. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. I mean 1 to 130, but that's a potential trade if anyone wants to do that. I'm curious. I want to check the Google one. Google one is it's buying 2432 and a half to 2440. Risking 320 to make 430. So the scan finds like the best odds option trades, option spreads. These are consistently profitable. I might actually do the Google one. This is a July expiration though. I will see. I mean, depends on the FOMC this week. But I did the Dollar General from the scan, so I'm just gonna capture this, Karthik. These basically the reason you would take these. The scan is looking at if you get into this position, how much stock needs to move for you to double your position. So like this Charter Communications, the stock needs to move just 0.69%, and your option position will double in value. So these are like option pricing perspective, good odds to get in. That's why like you would take these trends. It's not just a fundamental, because it's an uptrend, EMAs, etc. It's also from option pricing of the market makers. These come up as the best spreads that will double with small movement in stock price. That's why you would take these. That's why I like them. So I'll just put this as a MC option spread potential setups. All right, I'll post those as well. I think we're in a good place. Karthik, any final thoughts, comments?
No, I mean, I just want to share my the link here. Give me 1 second. Where do I post it in the banner? Right here?
No, if you within StreamYard, you can put it as a comment.
Okay.
Post the link, it'll post it to YouTube.
Okay, perfect. That's my the link for the game plan that I shared with you guys. So I think what you guys should do is focus on a couple of things I mentioned on the market events for the week. Focus on your process. Don't worry about the outcomes. Focus on your process. The outcomes will follow. So stick with your trading plan, guys.
Perfect. Let's look at one final time to Bitcoin. I think we're still around 39 something, 39,180, which is really good. I like this turnaround. Let's see how it is. Look at this. Market Cipher is giving a divergence by, I think I said this earlier, but now it's giving that on a daily. You saw that. So look at this, Karthik. We have a big green dot. This is really good buy, guys. We have a big green dot buy on daily and a divergence buy on Market Cipher on daily, okay? So we may go up to 50K this week on Bitcoin. Obviously, it's never a straight line. We'll go up a little bit, come back down, and go up, continue to go up, okay? So it looks great. All right, with that, thanks everyone for joining tonight. Have a great week. Make lots of money. Let the trades come to you. Be patient. I'm so grateful to have this trading community. It's always great to have friends supporting each other when we're trading. It's a lot of fun. Karthik, have a good night. Thanks for joining. All right, guys. Have a great week.